Alright, you guys, real quick before the video does start, I have decided before every video starts, I am going to be giving a shout out, and today's shout out goes to HK the Sports Fan and the Benchwarmers. The links to both of their channels will be in the description below, so make sure you guys go ahead and check them out. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. The Boston Celtics lately have been struggling, as yesterday, well, they blew a 24-point lead to the New Orleans Pelicans and they lost in overtime. And they started out the season 8-3, but since then they have gone 7-12 and are right now the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference as I record this video. And today I wanted to talk about some of the issues with this team and some solutions they could use to alleviate them. Before we do get started though, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here so you do not miss out on any new videos. And we are also on the road to 500 subscribers, and as a special, I will react to my first 2 videos ever once we hit 500. So if you guys want to see that and enjoy the content on here, make sure to subscribe. But with that being said though, let's get started. And I wanted to start out by talking about the Celtics roster. And let's start out by talking about Kemba Walker. And I still wanted to give him a mention even though he has been awful this year, which we'll get to later. But he still deserves a mention, as I said before, as the guy can turn his season around. And we know how good of a player he can be. And this past year, he has obviously not been good, as he's been averaging just 17 points per game and 4 assists per game on pretty bad efficiency. And usually, he is a really good scorer, shooter, and playmaker. But even then, I still want to give Kemba Walker a mention. And Jaylen Brown is the next player I want to talk about. Jaylen Brown has been really good this year and has taken another step in his game as a playmaker. And the guy has upped his scoring, and he's just been amazing. How else do I put it? The guy is a good scorer, he can shoot the ball well, he's a really good defensive player, and is also an improved playmaker, as I said before. And so far this year, he has been averaging 25.5 points per game, 4 assists per game, and 5.5 rebounds per game, shooting 50% from the field and 41% from 3. I mean, all I can say about Jaylen Brown is that he is amazing. Jason Tatum is the next player I want to talk about. And Jason Tatum, he is a really solid all-around wing player who can score the ball. He's a pretty good shooter too, can defend really well, can also play make at a pretty decent level, and is also a really good rebounder. And is easily the best player on this team, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure many of you guys agree with that statement, as Jason Tatum is, I mean, he's like a borderline superstar player. He is just amazing. That's really what I'm trying to get at here. And so far this season, he has been averaging 26 points per game, 5 assists per game, and 7 rebounds per game, shooting 45% from the field and 39% from 3. Marcus Smart is the next player I want to talk about. And he is an amazing, he is a really good 3-and-D guard. And his impact on the team is just absolutely, I mean, it is huge, and he is really important to this team. I mean, we've seen that as the guy has been out for the past couple of weeks, and I mean, that has had a big effect on the team. I guess I did reveal one of the problems, but anyways, he did suffer an injury. But this past year before he got hurt, he was pretty good, as the guy was upped his scoring to 13 points per game, and was also playmaking pretty well with 6 assists per game, and also had averaged 2 steals per game. Hopefully Marcus Smart is back on the court soon, as the guy is absolutely amazing. Tristan Thompson is the next player I want to talk about. And Tristan Thompson is a pretty good traditional big who can finish it around the rim pretty well, can rebound, and is a solid defensive player. And so far this year, he is averaging 8 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, shooting 53% from the field. Daniel Tice is the next player I want to talk about. And he is a really good hustle player, and he's actually started to shoot some threes. And I know a lot of Celtics fans aren't huge fans of the guy, but he's an okay player, as he is averaging 9 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and is shooting 57% from the field and 39% from 3. Peyton Pritchard is the next player I want to talk about, and Peyton Pritchard has been a really good player for them. as in 21 minutes a game, he is averaging 7.5 points per game, 2 assists per game, and 2 rebounds per game, shooting 46% from the field and 38% from 3. Not only that, but the guy's a really good hustle player, he's a pretty good offensive guard, and he plays with so much energy and passion. Grant Williams is the final player I want to talk about, and Grant Williams is not anything crazy, he's just not anything crazy, but he's still a pretty good 3-and-D player, as he's averaging 5 points per game and 3 rebounds per game, shooting 45% from the field and 41.5% from 3, which it's alright considering the playing time he is getting. Now, getting to the issues with this team, as I said before, the Marcus Smart injury, I guess we can go ahead and talk about that later, but first off, we have to address the fact that Boston is too reliant on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Now, normally, Kemba Walker would have been like a good third shot creator on the team, but so far this year, he has just been so bad. So whenever Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum gets shut down, Boston is basically screwed in the shot creation department. And I mean, that also brings us up to the issue of how Kemba Walker played. So I guess we can combine them. I mean, the fact that they're too reliant on the Jays, I guess you could say, I mean, it's just a huge problem for this team, as I said before. And Kemba Walker has to play better. Look, I love Kemba Walker, but he has been god-awful this year. Now, maybe he's still trying to get back to form from his knee injury, and the guy definitely isn't looking as confident and as explosive as he once was before, that knee injury, but eventually we are going to come to a point where that injury won't be much of an excuse, and he has to play better. I mean, he's already been tossed around in trade rumors, and I think he just has to play better, as I said before, as if he starts playing like his normal all-star self, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum keep on playing around this level, they are obviously going to be a much better team. I mean, they need that third shot creator next to Tatum and Brown. And I mean, they have it right there in Kemba Walker. It's just, he's not exactly playing like that third shot creator on that team. And of course, as I said before, in a playoff series, if Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, is locked up and they aren't having a good series, and neither is Kemba Walker, well, then essentially, either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or whoever is gonna have to carry that team, basically just carry that team, and they're basically gonna be screwed. And that's really my issue with, Kemba Walker, and the fact that they are kind of reliant on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Well, they are really reliant. Not only that, but the depth on this team is not that good. Now, they did try to address it this year, and they did an okay job, as they did go out and sign Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson. And Jeff Teague, I just want to say, he has also been awful for the Celtics. Now, a lot of times on Twitter, I like to troll Celtics fans by saying #extend Jeff Teague. The link to that will be in the description below. Go ahead and follow me. But he has to play better. Being all serious, he has to play better. And that's all I'm really gonna say for Jeff Teague. He must play better. And of course, I'm gonna say it again, but yeah, Marcus Smart getting injured did not help this team at all, as the guy is an amazing leader and is also an amazing on-the-court player. As the guy, when you need him to, he can be a pretty decent scorer. His playmaking is fine. His 3-point shooting's okay. Offensively, he's okay. Defensively, he is absolutely amazing, and he's also an amazing leader. So, yeah, Marcus Smart is obviously, his injury is really harming the team. And I also want to mention that the Celtics do have an issue with wanting to win now, but also develop the young guys on this team, as they have a lot of them, and guys like Romeo Langford and Carson Edwards. And they do kind of have to choose one, so I will also say that. But going back to the depth, the Celtics need better depth. It is a big reason why they blow so many leads like how they did yesterday. And when when their stars sit, they really don't have a good scorer off the bench to keep them up and keep that lead constantly, just keep that lead, really. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I have seen a lot of Celtics fans blaming Brad Stevens, and while he is definitely not the biggest reason in my opinion, he does do some questionable things, like playing Daniel Tice and Tristan Thompson together, which really should not happen, as they do not work out in the modern NBA. But Brad Stevens is not awful, and he is not the main problem with this team. And the final problem I want to say is, well, they do not have good rim protection. Tristan Thompson is a solid defender, but I mean, they have Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, and Domantas Sabonis in their conference. And if they have to go up against them in a playoff series, they could really be toast, and they will be murdered in the paint. Well, like, Tristan Thompson can do his best, but with how Embiid has been playing, and, Giannis, he's Giannis, and of course, the other guys are also very good. It's gonna be really hard to stop those guys without a good rim protector. And I mean, they nearly got Miles Turner, but they definitely botched that. But hey, you do need to move on from the past eventually. And they really can't, I don't know if they can really survive with this rim protection, especially if the Lakers are able to make it to the finals and Anthony Davis is healthy. Well, they're basically dead. And they need to make a move at the deadline this year. And that really brings us to the solutions. They have to make a move at the deadline. And they should try and get like a good rim protector to help alleviate, the issues with the interior defense. And definitely try and increase the depth on this team by getting, a good 3-and-D player. Now, I have seen some Celtics fans saying they want John Collins, and he had certainly improved the big man, both the power forward and center position, and his defense is okay. But I mean, the fact that his defense is just okay makes me kind of like doubtful, because while he would improve the team offensively, defensively, I mean, they really do need a good rim protector when it comes to power forward and center spot. Harrison Barnes has been really good for the Kings. I mean, he'd be really good for this team. And I mean, Boston should also really target him. Aaron Gordon would also be really good, as the guy is a very good defensive player and is also pretty athletic and good at finishing at the rim. And his shooting is okay, but he would be really good for this team. And I mean, he wouldn't have to take on the role of being a shot creator, as he really is just not that. But please don't take him, Celtics. I need my Nuggets to trade for Aaron Gordon. But yeah, jokes aside, I mean, if I'm the Celtics, Aaron Gordon would be really good for this team. I have seen people say, oh, trade Kemba Walker, and if he keeps on playing like this, well, yeah, I would definitely love to trade him. But I mean, if you don't get a point guard in return, the playmaking on this team could be a massive issue. Nikola Vucevic has also been mentioned, and he would improve the center position, but at the same time, he is not a great defender, as I said before. And in the buyout market, if Andre Drummond is bought out, he could be good if Brad can discipline him. I made a whole video on him yesterday, and a card should be popping up, somewhere like about now, so go ahead and check that out. Blake Griffin could be okay, as the guy would improve the power forward and center positions, and if he does change his mindset and starts playing better, he could be okay if he's bought out and they decide to, take a chance on him. But at the same time, as I said before, not an amazing defensive player. One trade I came up with is that the Celtics get Harrison Barnes, the Kings get Romeo Langford, Grant Williams, Aaron Nesmith, and a 2022 first. But those are really some of the issues with the Celtics and what they can do to alleviate them. But with that being said, that will be the end of today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here, so you do not miss out on any new videos. And we are also on the road to 500 subscribers. Once we hit 500, I will react to my first 2 videos ever. So if you guys want to see that and enjoy the content on here, make sure to subscribe. But with that being said, I'm out, you guys.